Hi, my name is Sarah and I live in this 1990 Dodge Islander van. Her name is Azura and this is my kitty cat Bodhi that travels around with me. I've lived in my van for 2 years now. I have not done anything to it, which is kind of driving me crazy. Whoever painted it blue in here really did not do it with too much attention to detail. So this is the kitchen. I have a double sink here. And I do have hot water. Every time you drive, the pilot light on it goes out, so I very rarely do it unless I'm parked in somewhere for a while, which I never usually am. If I do want hot water for dishes, I find it's just easier to boil a pot of water and dump it in my sink. And I have a 4-burner stove, which is also run on propane, and an oven as well, which is amazing. I really like to do a lot of cooking, so it's nice to have like a full cooking setup in the van, and I find that you can cook pretty much anything you would in like a normal house. Have my kitchen stuff up here, and then this van is really sweet because it has so much more storage than my last one as well. I have this little pull-out rack that I keep a lot of dry goods in, and then I have a pretty big fridge in this van as well, which is a 3-way, so it runs on propane. You can also run it off the batteries. Or if you're plugged into shore power, you can do that too. So that's pretty nice. I don't really drink anymore, but people keep giving me beer, so. And then a really big freezer as well that I don't really use too much. I like to buy a lot of things fresh because you don't always have to work as much to pay for everything that you might normally pay for. It opens up more time and space to be able to spend time getting to know yourself and getting to know the direction that you want to go in. Although I will say in this past month, it's probably just as expensive as living in a house with the gas prices. I just have one battery, which is under this. You just take the screw out and it lives under here, and then down here I have the fuse panel for everything, and underneath this bench seat there's a 1000-watt inverter as well. So when I do some renos later on in the spring, summer, I'm gonna add solar so that I don't have to constantly drive to recharge my batteries, because right now that's how they charge, off the alternator. It's really allowed me a lot of freedom to explore things that I don't think I would have explored otherwise. I initially went out to Vancouver Island to do a yoga teacher training in Victoria that I'd been wanting to do for a long time, but just never prioritized it before. I thought I could take the time off work. That's what kind of got me into it, and I thought I was just going to be out there for 5 weeks, and it has really just snowballed into loving this lifestyle. And I think that when you can make decisions not out of a place of fear but out of a place of openness, it can really unfold a lot of things that you would have never expected to happen in your life. Because thinking back to when I made that decision to move into a van, I would have never thought that I would be where I'm at now. And the fan up here, it's one of the old Fantastic fans that you can open up, and my last van did not have a fan, so I'm really excited for this for the summer to get some some good airflow on the hot days. There's the propane furnace in here, and the thermostat is right there. So the fan for that goes off the battery, and there's one, the heat comes out there, and then there's also another spot right here where it blows out. So the financial part of van life is interesting too, because you can't just quit all your jobs and do nothing forever. So it's about finding things that are in alignment with you and in alignment with how you want to live your life, that are also going to be able to fuel the lifestyle as well. I have a full bathroom back here. So a toilet that has a black tank, and then another sink, which I think is just crazy that I have 2 sinks in such a small space. Honestly, this one doesn't get used that much. I usually store things in it that are usually flying around once you start driving. But this is really, really nice for me to have, because my last van I also didn't have a real bathroom set up. And when I was 24, had a surgery that I lost my entire large intestine. And so I function a little bit different than most people, and so that was like a big burden for me in my last van, always having to park near a bathroom, because I live with something called an ostomy bag, So it's really, really nice to have my own bathroom now. Part of living with an ostomy is I have to carry around supplies with me to change my bag and everything. So I have an entire drawer dedicated to storing my medical supplies, which I think it's really cool because a lot of people that have an ostomy don't think they would ever be able to do van life or travel in the same way. But yeah, it's been 2 years now and I've been kicking it, so that's great. But yeah, love my bathroom. Well, with these old vans, there's always something breaking or going wrong, and so my old one would break down like minimum once a month and I'd be stranded somewhere. So I think I was not handy at all before entering van life, and it's really forced me to become resourceful and trust myself and figure out how to do things myself, rather than, because you're not always around somebody that you know, so you have to figure out how to fix whatever's going on. And like in my last van, I had to put the carburetor back in all by myself, and like things like that I would just never have imagined myself doing before. But yeah, in the old vans, that's one of the challenges, is there's always something going on, or something with your batteries, or something with, you know, the water, whatever it may be. There's always yeah, something to fix or to figure out, but it's been good. It's a fun challenge. These are my plugs, and this is my inverter switch here. So when I turn that on, all of these work, and then yeah, my inverter just lives underneath the bench seat there, and I just store a bunch of other kind of outdoorsy gear under there as well, all of my backpacking stuff. I have a piece of foam up here, but it's not very comfortable, so I have just turned it into storage, and it's Bodhi's favorite spot to to hang out up here as well, and she can look over everything. And it's actually been kind of nicer just to sleep down here anyways, instead of having to shuffle around a spot for my like guitar and my drum and just other things that maybe don't have a home. So yeah, that's been really nice. And then I just sleep down here, which is actually quite a bit comfier than up here would be right now. So it works. And it's nice because this can actually, you can pull these out and make this into an even bigger bed with those other cushions. So it could sleep 4 people in here quite comfortably. So I've taken a few girlfriends out and we've done trips, which has been nice. I think everybody wanting to get into van life thinks you need this like $60,000 Sprinter, and that's just like not the case. Like you can really get by with sleeping on a not that great piece of foam and boiling your water, and there's lots of ways to travel and to get into van life without needing everything to be perfect right off the bat. And I think that letting go of that like van life Instagram ideal is so important, because things don't need to be like that for you to have the experience of traveling in a van. This is storage as well. I have my twinkle lights strung up here, but this is Bodhi's favorite spot, and she'll also sit up here and play with them all the time, so they are always falling off. She looks so innocent right now. But yeah, up here I just have more kitchen stuff. And then in this middle one, this past year I started my own loose leaf tea company. So this is where I keep my stock of my own teas. I like that I have a whole cabinet dedicated to tea. And this one I just have some more camping gear, my camping stove, a hammock, some gas, bear spray. Yeah, back here is another spot I use for storage as well, that I keep my camp chair and my roller skates and some hiking shoes, yoga mat. So lots of nooks and crannies. You get really creative with space when you live in a van. It's kind of my like garage area, so I have like all of my tools and like a garage box, battery charger, stuff like that. So I was just talking to a friend about this the other day, and she's moving to Australia and wants to do van life there, but she's so scared of all of the what ifs and the unknowns, and I like to call them figure-outables. I'm like, it's okay if you don't know how to do it, it's all, you can figure it out. And yeah, I think if you're feeling like anything in life, if you're feeling called to do it, you just kind of have to jump in with both feet, even if there's things you don't know. And yeah, just go for it, and things will fall into, if you're really truly following like your heart and your intuition, things will fall into place on the way. Yeah, over here this is kind of like little hobby zone. I love to read and have a really hard time letting go of books, so I actually just purged so many, so this is what I'm left with now, but I have quite a few books that I like to look back and reference on, so that's that. And this is my little trinket box that has a lot of just little things that I've collected over the years that have a lot of meaning to me. This was my last van. Her name was Fran, and Shelby and Scott, they were like, I don't know if you've met them, but they were a big part in the Victoria van life community, so that comes along with me. And yeah, just other little random things. This is Cricky from from Mulan. She's my lucky cricket. And then I also have a drawer down here that has the rest of I have like my art supplies and a whole bunch of paints and some games and cards and a crib board and stuff that all live down there. And this is my kind of drunk everything drawer that I feel like everybody has, no matter if you live in a van or a house, so anything and everything can live in there.
What do you think are some of the benefits that you've found from living in a van?
Spending so much more time in nature. It's just so much easier to just get up and drive, and that's something that's been so important to me for so long. And when I was living, I loved living in Canmore in a house, but it's so nice to just be able to go and have your home like in nature and open your door and be like beside a lake or a river. It's just hard to even compare to day trips. So yeah, that's been really nice. I think to let go of so much structure that I need in my life and always needing to know what the next steps are, just being able to drop that has yeah, allowed me to be open to things that I might not have before. Just not always needing to have like a rigid plan of like, oh, what's it gonna be like 6 months from now, because right now I don't even know what it's gonna be like a day or two from now, or where I'm gonna be. And I think that's been, yeah, very healing for me, and not necessarily needing to, you can still make plans and have goals and things that you're working towards, but not needing to be so set in that and stuck in that, that you're closed off from new opportunities or new things that come in. I enjoy travel because you meet so many different people along the way, and different perspectives coming in versus just kind of staying in the same place. I think it's really opened me up to a lot of different ways of living and different ways of people living out their life, because everybody in van life, like as you have known, is on such a different path, and it's really interesting connecting with that community and seeing like all the different reasons behind why people are doing van life. So just even connecting with that community has been really cool. So I spent about 7 months in Victoria last year, which is such a beautiful place for the van life community. There's just, you pull up somewhere and there's 5 other vans, and it's really easy to meet friends just going to the dog park or wherever. So the community aspect is huge. It can be kind of lonely traveling on the road sometimes, so if you are by yourself 100% of the time. So it's really nice to most of the time know that if you pull up somewhere to a park or wherever and you see another van, it's very easy to go outside and make a new friend. So yeah, community has been really important to me, and I found honestly better community on the road than I have in a lot of towns I've lived in, because you just meet so many people. And yeah, these past 3 weeks I drove from Vancouver Island to here, and just it was so nice doing a big tour of all the van lifers and friends I've met on the road throughout all the little towns that they're now in BC. It's just, so you have friends everywhere. I definitely recommend it. I think everybody could learn something from doing it, for even if it was 2 weeks of their life. You could learn something from getting out in a van and seeing more of the world and spending more time in nature. But I think it's really well suited for somebody like myself. I just have such a hard time right now thinking about signing a year lease somewhere, because I'm like, well, I want to go do this thing and I want to go to this place to learn about this thing, and it's too hard to commit to a payment renting somewhere when I know that I'm not going to be there most of the time. So it's really well suited if you are on a path of that you're out learning and growing and wanting to move around too. I love being able to pull up anywhere and have everything that I just need in this tiny little box. So yeah, if that's you, I would 100% recommend Vanlife. Read a quote the other day by John O'Donoghue. He's an Irish poet, and it went, "I want to live my life like a river, surprised by its own unfolding." And I really loved that, because I think that, like I said before, when you're so rigid in all your plans and needing to make everything a certain way, I don't think it allows that space to unfold into maybe who you're meant to be, or your higher purpose. So yeah, I think that would be it, is just allowing myself to be surprised by my own unfolding, and kind of stripping back layers of conditioning of ways that I thought things could be, just so I can be open to seeing a greater potential. Vanlifing with a cat is another thing that I have. So she's only 11 months old, so she came in about halfway through my journey, and that's been really, really fun as well. It's been so nice to have a little travel companion to come along with me and to explore, and she loves the van. She's grown up in vans, so it's been really nice to have a pet along, especially if you're solo. It's nice to have a little travel companion. There's her litter box that I scoop on the daily, and then yeah, I make sure I give her lots of cuddles and love, and she quite often, I know this isn't the best, but will come and sit on my lap as I'm driving long distances, and she always cuddles with me when I sleep at night. And I take her outside on little walks every day on her leash and harness, and let her explore at her own pace. But she's pretty happy just like either sitting on the dash or sitting here and looking out the window watching birds and people watching, and yeah, just try to be in tune with her needs and make sure that she's never stressed or anything. But she loves this lifestyle, I think, even more than me. So I'm on Instagram at find_your_wild find your wild, and my loose leaf tea company, I'm putting it on pause for the next 3 or 4 months as I'm going to live and work on this ashram. I'm really just going to try to disconnect with social media and the online world, so I can kind of ground into things there and really, yeah, just focus on myself. So, but that'll be up and running again, and you'll be able to find it all through my Instagram. There'll be updates there too. So
if you would like to be featured on different media, there's a form you can fill out to be on the podcast or to have your van toured. And if you're interested in watching more alternative dwelling tours like this, we upload every single Sunday. So hit subscribe, and new van life and chill podcasts every Thursday. Thanks everyone for watching.